What's up, everyone? Matt Kane here from Kane's Corner. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you follow on Instagram, Kane's Corner Sports, and Maddie Kane 105. And make sure you follow me on Twitter, also Maddie Kane 105. Again, make sure you subscribe, follow on Instagram, follow on Twitter. Let's get on to the program. We are back with another show of Kane's Corner. Welcome into this beautiful Wednesday afternoon. I am Matt Kane here to bring you the hottest and latest sports topics going on in the world of sports that we all love. Today we have a great show. We got Luke Cammarata, the host of FantIC Sports, joining us today to talk a little bit about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Julio Jones, the 49ers, Trey Lance, Jimmy Garoppolo, and then going into some quarterback dilemmas. A lot of fun today here on the show, but before I get into it, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you smash it to keep up with everything going on Kane's Corner Sports. As always, we start the show with Jersey of the Day. Now, today's jersey, I am wearing an Alabama 150th year edition Tua Tagovailoa jersey. I got this freshman year in my college, back when Tua was playing and just right before he got hurt, I'm pretty sure. So I was a fan of his game, not so much a fan of his game anymore, kind of, fizzled out. I don't think he's that great of an NFL quarterback, to be honest. He might be talked about later today in the show, but I thought I'd have this on maybe before I sell it. Who knows? So yeah, we got a great show here today. I'm really excited. Third guest coming on. It's going to be a great one. I am now joined by the third guest on Kane's Corner Sports. I'm here with Luke Cammarata, the host of FantIC Sports. Luke, it's so great to have you on. I'll give you this time to introduce yourself. You're wearing the AB jersey. Steelers fan here, so you can introduce yourself.
Hey, it's great to be here. I very much appreciate it. I am Luke Cammarata from FantIC Sports, and I am very pleased to be joining Matt on his podcast today.
Yeah, we're both he's an IC student, 2 grades below me, but I'm really happy. I was on his show, I want to say in June.
A little while back.
His stuff will be in the bio. Make sure you check that out. Luke, there's a ton of stuff. The NFL is coming back. It's coming back together. We got training camp. The first preseason game is actually Thursday. So the NFL's back, and what we saw, it was an all-pro, future Hall of Fame receiver in Julio Jones. He's not the Julio Jones we once knew, but he's now joining Tom Brady and that Tampa Bay Buccaneers offense. I want you to dive through your first thoughts when you heard that news, and then kind of the implications that it's going to have. Do you see the Buccaneers on top of the NFC?
Well, my first thought was he's no Antonio Brown. That was my first thought. I think, it's a very good signing. I really did not expect him to go there. It kind of did shock me. I think everyone, or a majority of people, had him going down to your team, Green Bay, just because of the lack of depth they have in general, or maybe reuniting with the Falcons because of how little wide receivers they have. But it definitely shocked me, and I definitely think it's going to help Tom Brady, and I definitely think he's going to be good. He had flashes last year with Ryan Tannehill when he played. That's the biggest thing. And I think he won't be asked to do too much this season, which is perfect for him. I don't think he'll have a crazy season, but I definitely think he'll do better given the circumstances with the pieces he has around him.
Yeah, kind of what I thought originally was, obviously they lost Antonio Brown. He was a big piece. He was a big piece, even though he went out the wrongest way you can possibly go out.
Yeah, he just walked off the field.
Yeah, but he was a pretty big piece of their offense, especially when that Super Bowl year. Julio Jones is going to be going into wide receiver 3 there with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, because Godwin is supposedly back after his injury.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how that happened.
Yeah, no, that blew me away as well. But that's the reason I'm saying I think with the pieces around him, because if Godwin were to not be healthy, I think it'd be a little different because they don't have Gronk either, so they're missing a tight end. But they have Fournette and they have Godwin. Given if he's really healthy, and Mike Evans. But that's a team of fragile wide receivers if you really look at it. Mike Evans, I don't think got injured too much last season, but they're all very injury prone. I mean, well, not very injury prone. I won't say Godwin is, but Godwin, has been on the injury side of football for a while now.
So let me ask you this. My original Super Bowl prediction was Tampa Bay. Tom Brady wins it again, finally retires over the Denver Broncos. Now, sticking with the NFC side, because I know the Denver Broncos might be a little hot take, but sticking with the NFC side, do you think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will come out of the NFC? Or are you liking a team like the Rams, the Packers, Cowboys, etc.?
Definitely. I'm liking the Rams, right? And I think I've said a lot of times that the Bucs are going to win it. That the Bucs are gonna go far. Um, it just seems too hard, too easy for them not to. The NFC is really easy. Their only competition is the Rams. So I mean, that's what I'm saying is the Bucs or the Rams because it just seems like to me that's the only competition right now for them. And I have the Rams with like a slight look, maybe to be honest, in my opinion, just because they have a maybe better team. I can't recall how many people the Bucs lost in free agency. I know they lost Ronald Jones. I know they lost maybe a couple defensive guys, but I don't know who they lost overall. I know who the Rams gained. That's all I'm thinking about right now. They gained, Allen Robinson. They gained some good players on that team. So I definitely have the Rams taking the Bucs in the NFC.
Yeah, while you bring that up, they did lose a lot of offensive line pieces, including Alex Kappa, their guard, to the Cincinnati Bengals, and they just lost Ryan
Yeah,
Jensen.
yeah.
Ryan Jensen just went down with an injury. I just remember that. So
Mhm.
that might be big. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I knew I didn't remember Kappa, but I just remember Jensen as you were talking about offensive line. Especially with Tom Brady, you're gonna need a good offensive line. I feel like most of the reason why he's been so good, especially when he went to the Buccaneers, is because it looked like he never got any pressure on him. So I mean, when he was just sitting back there in the pocket, just absolutely tearing your team to shreds, I mean, an offensive line with so much talent is gonna boost your team. I'm pretty sure his injury is pretty bad, Jensen,
It's
from
a
what it
it's a
seems.
knee injury.
Yeah,
So
so I mean,
yeah.
it definitely seems like it's not going to be a short timetable to return. So definitely would like to see what goes on with the team now that they lost two big offensive line pieces.
Yeah, it's feared to be a season-ending injury. So that's
Yeah,
not good.
that's not good at
And
all.
the only reason why I have the Bucks, I think the Rams are much more talented because the pieces that they kept. I just don't like picking the same team,
Yeah, no,
going
I
back
agree.
to back
No team has won back to back in quite, yeah, no, in
since
quite some time,
Brady.
in a couple of years now. Yeah, no, since Brady.
So that was kind of my thoughts going in, but we'll transition from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to the San Francisco 49ers, who were in the NFC Championship last year. They're going through a new change in quarterback. Uh, Kyle Shanahan, Kyle Shanahan officially said Trey has taken over the team. Jimmy and Trey and him are all on the same page. I talked about this a little before about two shows ago about Jimmy Garoppolo. Luke, where do you think Jimmy Garoppolo is going to end up if you think he will be traded?
Um, See, here's the thing. I think they came out with a statement, or Shanahan came out with a statement that if he hadn't done a shoulder surgery, he probably would have been moved by now. And in my opinion, just with the way it seems, I don't believe he's going to be moved. I don't see a team that's super fit for him right now. Just in general, I mean, like obviously you could say certain teams could pick him up. I mean, any bad team could use him, but any bad team's not going to want Jimmy Garoppolo to win you some games because that's what he'll do. He'll win you some games. So I mean, I don't see him being moved. I don't know what they're going to do with him. Obviously, they're going to keep him behind Trey Lance. But I think it's time for Trey Lance in San Francisco. I feel like at this point, when you look at the team, they're in a kind of in between win now and like do we want to bring in the new guy so he can make us win now better, or are we looking to the future with our young guys? Jimmy G has always been so shy of getting far. I mean, last year they were pretty close to making the Super Bowl. I mean, they were pretty much a couple plays away. So I don't know. I think Jimmy G is a good player, and I think he's been a good player. Just he's in the weirdest part of his career where it's like, do we want Jimmy G because he's 28, right? He's 28, 29.
I think so,
And so
yeah.
it's just kind of like he's in that weird position right now in his career where it's like, what do you do with him?
Yeah, I've talked about Jimmy G. I think he's a winner. Like that he's not the most talented guy, but he will win you games
Hmm.
in crunch time, and we saw that going into the Super Bowl against the Chiefs. And last year, like you said, they were a Jaquiski Tart play away
Yeah, they
from,
were exactly. They were a play away from making the Super Bowl.
and that could have been a whole different situation if they would have beat the Bengals or not.
Hmm.
Um, Here's what I think. I don't know. I don't think he probably will be moved, but I do think that a team that would fit it is the New York Giants. Now, there's not a lot of teams you could say,
Yeah.
you know, we'll talk about some of these teams later because they're going through quarterback controversies. But Seattle, like, they're not going to trade him to Seattle. They won't
Hmm.
do that. Atlanta, I don't think Atlanta is going to want to get Jimmy G because they got Desmond Ritter. They got Marcus Mariota. They got their guys,
Yeah.
or who they think are their guys. So there's
Yeah.
not a lot of spots open. And the only reason why I like the Giants because if they win if they come off and they win, a couple games, and they could potentially make their way through the NFC close to the playoffs, or let's say the NFC East is bad, like because it's the NFC East,
Yeah.
you never know what's gonna happen. I think the Giants and Jimmy G could fit because Jimmy G can win you games, and with Brian Dable as the head coach, I don't know, I kind of like it.
Yeah. No. Now that you're saying it, I do kind of agree. I feel like obviously if we were actually having a conversation yesterday, me and my friends, about Daniel Jones, and he just we were talking about how he just is not that guy. I don't believe he's that guy. I don't think he's gonna be who the fans and who the team wants him to be. And now that you mentioned, I mean, you put him in that terrible division. I mean, obviously the Eagles got really good. I mean, well, not really good. They got a couple good players, and Hurts had a good season last year. But you put Jimmy G in that bad, awful division right now because I mean, who's to say that the Cowboys are the best team or the Eagles are the best team? They all are just very decent teams when it really boils down to it. So you put a winner like Jimmy G in that division with the team like the Giants. Giants are a good team other than a quarterback. They're a quarterback away from a good team.
Yeah, I think Saquon Barkley needs to come back. There
Yeah,
is a lot of question marks on that
yeah, there
offense,
are.
but there is talent for sure. And with that NFC East, I think that's the question marks because Dak's losing weapons. They got arguably worse. Mike McCarthy's not that great a coach.
No,
Jalen Hurts, question mark. How's he going to play with this new
exactly.
team? And AJ Brown, Carson Wentz is Carson Wentz. So I think
Yeah, Carson
that
Wentz.
itself that itself is a question mark.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think there's any chance that Jimmy G is released?
Does he have 1 year left on his contract or two?
I believe so. I don't remember. I think it's 1 year.
Yeah, I think it has to be one. I just don't see them releasing him. I see them just keeping him around if Trey Lance really like is just that bad, and they're like, all right, we'll throw Jimmy G back in. I don't even know.
He
I
he
don't.
has he's I'll just tell you this. He's got a cap hit of 26 million right now, and this is his last year.
And if they drop him, what do you think they would take on? Like, what would it even?
They would probably take on that cap hit. I don't
Yeah, so
well
like,
they
just
take some of it on, I guess.
yeah, they would take maybe at least half or above, but I don't know. I don't see why you wouldn't try to keep him around because ultimately, in the end of the day, is like maybe someone just shoots you a couple picks for him, like some bad picks for him. Like you can't get nothing out of Jimmy G. I feel like that'd be a big loss.
So, I just thought of this question. We were gonna move on, but I thought of this question because you talked about it earlier with what Kyle Shanahan said. He thinks he would have been traded if that surgery never happened. Do you think Jimmy G would be on a team like, I don't know, the Colts, the Commanders? I almost called them the football team.
Yeah.
Like Commanders, Colts, they got new quarterbacks, Matt Ryan, Carson Wentz.
Uh-huh.
Do you think Jimmy G could possibly even be a Falcon at that point?
See, the thing is, I don't understand. I don't know how much the shoulder injury. I didn't. When I saw that quote, I was like, I didn't even know he had shoulder surgery. I didn't know it was to that extent. But in my opinion, I mean, he looked good last year. So to get surgery and just rehab it a little, I mean, it's not like he could have gotten much worse from a shoulder surgery. I mean, if he didn't have it, I so to speak, and like I guess none of that ever happened, I think he would be on a team. I think he would definitely be a starter on a team like the Colts or the Commanders.
I definitely agree with you there. Now we're going to transition into Trey Lance. It's the new 49ers look. Trey Lance is the quarterback. What are you thinking about the 49ers this year?
With the rookie quarterback, I'm counting him as a rookie quarterback. He played one game last year against the Texans, and he played pretty good and played all right. He gave Debo the ball, and Debo went to work. So that's really much what he did. I don't know. He's in a pretty tough, and he's not in a super tough division. He's in a pretty hard division, a decent division. Anyway, I don't know. I like Trey Lance. I like how he looks. He looked good when he played in his one game last year. They have a good team. The 49ers never seem to be, in the past couple of years, they've never seemed to be awful. Kyle Shanahan's a great coach. I think they have some really cool weapons on offense that they're going to be able to use, like Elijah Mitchell and Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk, and a pretty all good offensive line with George Kittle. It would be a very big shock to me if Trey Lance was not able to succeed with such good people around him.
Yeah, Kyle Shanahan he's a guy that makes quarterbacks pretty good. Matt
Exactly.
Ryan won an MVP with him. Jimmy
Mhm.
Garoppolo made the Super Bowl.
hmm I would be shocked. And like I said, with the pieces around him, he's young. He's both sides of the ball again. Like he can run. He's a big guy, and he can take some hits. So I'd be very shocked if he were not to succeed.
The talent is there for sure.
Exactly.
I think is with the San Francisco 49ers, I think they can easily slide into a wild card. That's actually where I have them, I believe.
Mhm.
They're going to be contending with the Cardinals though, which will be interesting.
Yeah.
Now
Yeah.
going in, you have any last
I was gonna
thoughts?
say that's if you believe in Kyler. I feel like the Cardinals are such a good regular season team. That's why it's so hard. Because they always
Hmm.
seem to just at least with Kyler Murray, they just seem to be good in the regular season, but they're just not good in the playoffs. And like I said, it's not a really necessarily tough division, especially since Russell's gone. You can say the Seahawks are just bum team now. But I don't know. It's up for they could definitely slide in the playoffs. They could definitely slide in the playoffs.
Do you think? I don't think Arizona. I don't have them making my playoffs. Do you think they'll make the playoffs?
I just feel like they're such a good regular season team. But without DeAndre Hopkins, it's up for debate. I really couldn't give you an answer. I
All
wouldn't
right.
know. And if JJ Watt stays healthy, every year you see JJ Watt and he's like, oh, he's gonna be healthy this year. This is it, and then he's not. So I don't know. I don't know.
Definitely interesting, especially with the addition of Marquise Brown with his old college
hmm
buddy,
Yep.
uh, in Kyler Murray. So we end the show off every time with a little fun game. Today we got quarterback dilemmas. Luke,
hmm
you're just gonna be deciding who should be the starting quarterback. We're gonna go start with the who should be the starting quarterback and who do you think will end
Okay.
with some of the last teams. So who do you think should start your team, the Pittsburgh Steelers, Mitch Trubisky or Kenny Pickett?
Kenny Pickett should start for them.
Who do you
For
think will
sure.
start?
Who do I think will start?
Yeah.
See, that's
We'll
so
go
tough.
with that. Who do you think will start? We'll go with that.
I really hope it's Kenny Pickett. So I'm gonna say Kenny Pickett. I really hope it's him. I like the Mitch Trubisky signing. I do. I don't want to give him a chance though. I know that sounds so I just don't want to give him a chance. I want Kenny Pickett to be our guy.
I think I personally think Mitch Trubisky will start, but I do think they should start Kenny Pickett. I agree with you there. He's like 23 years old,
Yep.
24 years old. He should be NFL ready. Um, Seattle, Drew Lock, Geno Smith. Who do you think will start?
I think Drew Lock will start.
I agree with you there.
I think Drew Lock start, man. There's no way they put Geno in. He's old. He's just an old guy at this point. I don't see them putting him in for any other reason other than the fact that they would want to lose.
Uh, Pete Carroll. I don't know if you saw it, but Pete Carroll, like Friday or Thursday, he quoted and he said, "It's a quarterback competition, but I like Geno Smith or something like that. But Drew Lock can still win it." So I thought that was interesting.
I think that's interesting too.
I,
For sure, I
maybe
think that's interesting.
maybe they are trying to lose.
Yeah, for
Atlanta Falcons, Marcus Mariota or Desmond Ritter? Who do you
I think
think?
Mariota is going to start.
I think so too. Do you think Ritter can end up with the starting
No,
job
I don't think Ritter's going to get in at all. I don't think
at
he'll start
all?
the field this year.
Okay.
I don't. I just don't see him. I mean, they signed Mariota, and I mean, they drafted Ritter in like the third round, I think. And Mariota's still young, so I mean, and it depends. Mariota starts winning, maybe they take him out because there's no way they want to win that team. So,
I was thinking the opposite. I was thinking they start losing and then throw a Ritter in.
eh, I suppose.
Carolina just acquired Baker Mayfield. Do you think Sam Darnold has any shot to start Week 1?
I don't know. They seemed very hesitant to get Baker, and it seems like it was so drawn out. But I mean, they'd be pretty dumb not to start Baker just because, he's way more talented than Sam Darnold. I think people are really overlooking Baker just because I don't even think he had a crazy awful season last year. Like people are acting like he had like the worst. He had a pretty low season for himself, but like he's had good seasons. I think Baker should start.
Okay. I agree with you there. I think Baker Mayfield gets a little too much hate. I don't think
Yeah.
he's mid. All
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
he's like 15 to 20 for me in that range,
He's a
probably
quarterback,
towards
man.
20.
Yes.
Um, okay, the Giants, Daniel Jones or Tyrod Taylor. Who do you think will start Week 1?
Hopefully Tyrod, he's gonna get injured and Daniel Jones will have some crazy numbers. That's usually what happens. I don't know. I feel like they're gonna stick with Daniel Jones. It'd be a big hit. I don't think the fans would like it if Tyrod started, and I think just that alone wouldn't. And I think I mean the coach himself probably should put a lot of work into Daniel Jones. I hope he put a lot of work into him, so I think Daniel Jones will start.
Who do you think will end up with the job? Week 18. Who do you think starts or week 17? Since
That's hard. That's a hard one because if I don't know. Daniel Jones, man, he could be bad, and they could just be like, "Man, I want to win." I'm gonna say Tyrod Taylor. For once, I'm not
okay,
gonna say Daniel Jones. I'm just gonna say Tyrod Taylor.
I think it's totally possible.
I think it's possible too.
This one is probably easy for who will start. So we're gonna end up who will end up with this job: Miami, Tua Tagovailoa, or Teddy Bridgewater.
Okay, yeah, Tua will start, but this is a good one. Yeah, I think Tua will start, but I don't know who's gonna finish. That is a good question.
I personally think Tua, but it's totally up for debate.
It's up for debate because they have a new head coach, right? Yeah, so they have a new head coach. I mean, where was Teddy last year? He was,
Denver.
yeah, he wasn't. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I think yeah, Tua will probably. I mean, I just would be like with Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill if he does bad. I mean, that'd be pretty bad. So I think he'll definitely keep it through the season.
Okay, now with a team that I like to dog on this quarterback. We're going with Tennessee. Ryan Tannehill, who I'm not a huge fan of, or Malik Willis. Obviously, Tannehill will start.
Yeah,
Who will
yeah.
end up with the job
At
at the
the
end of the
end,
season,
yeah, at the end
not
of the
going
season.
into next year?
See, the thing is, I could see it being Malik just because where that team is going. Seems like Tannehill. Like, what's the point? I mean, I know they gave Tannehill, but they gave Tannehill so much money. They gave him so much money,
He does have a lot of money.
like so much for like just one good season. And it's just like I don't know. It'd be crazy if they took Tannehill out. But the way the team is moving, they have no wide receivers. They have no one. I mean, they took obviously the wide receiver in the first round. But like I mean, they're moving to young guys, and they were almost a win now. They're almost a championship team, and now they're done. Like I just don't see them being good. You
I don't
know,
either.
it's just I don't know. I think Tannehill though for sure. I think Tannehill's got to be starting the bench.
Yeah, I think Willis might end up with the job. I don't know if it'll be this year because they might want to sit him for a whole year.
Mm-hmm.
Being from Liberty, everyone likes to talk about the FCS school
Yep.
quarterbacks. Rest them for a year. Finally, last one. This is kind of funny. Cleveland Browns. All right. If Deshaun Watson's suspended, who starts Week 1? Jacoby Brissett or other? Josh Rosen, Deshaun Kaiser.
Man, maybe they throw Kaiser back in. I mean, yeah, I think it's got. I mean, it's got to be Brissett. Brissett's like that one guy who I feel like is always thrown in, never performs. But he'll like have a couple like certain plays and like man, I hate when people used to say like I think when he was on the Colts, everyone's like he's coming in for the QB sneak. And I was like, man, like he's just a big dude. Like you can put a running back there to do a QB sneak. Like it's not impressive that he can QB sneak a yard. Anyway, I think he will definitely be starting if Watson's suspended. But I don't know if Watson's going to be suspended. That's a different story though.
I don't know either. I don't know either. That's gonna wrap up QB dilemmas. Luke, it was great to have you on, man.
It was great to be on, and I very much enjoyed talking about the NFL. I've not talked about it in a minute.
All right, guys. Luke Cammarata, the host of FantIC Sports. I appreciate you coming on.
Of course, and I appreciate you having me.
It was great to have Luke on. I appreciate him coming on. We talked a lot. We talked Julio Jones, Tom Brady, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, to 49ers, to quarterback dilemma. If you missed any of that, go watch it over again. To the right of me, just check the times and go watch it back over again. It was a great show. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. And hey, I'll be back next week for another great one. We're doing great one after great one after great one. Going to try to get more guests on as well. A lot of fun here today. I'll see you guys next week.